If you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Well, there you all are. Hello. Today is Thursday, and it is January 31st, last day of the month, and it is 7:49 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, unfortunately, we don't have any Q posts, but we do have plenty of Q-related news. I did not do a video yesterday. It wasn't because I wasn't feeling well or anything like that. I just didn't have enough to bring you, and I thought I would wait until I had more of a substantial amount to bring you than just make a little 10-15 minute video. So that is what the deal was with yesterday, but we've got plenty today, and let's get into it, shall we? All right then. All sorts of interesting things. A whole potpourri of news items. All right, first this from Mrs. Claus. And now, Mrs. Claus, I'm not sure, some of you know and some of you don't. Those that follow me regularly probably know who Mrs. Claus is and who Santa Claus of the United States is. There's many theories surrounding who these two people are. I have my ideas. I would love to believe that JFK Jr. is alive, and I'm hoping that I'm right at some point. But if I'm not, then I'm not going to lose sleep over it either. But Mrs. Claus does provide some very interesting things, and I do follow her on Twitter. So she said it was about 2 years ago when Representative Nancy Pelosi claimed the Democrats do the Lord's work and that Republicans dishonor God. Is this part of the Lord's service? At Speaker Pelosi, let's not forget that Dems denied God 3 times at their 2012 convention. Interesting. Dems to strike "So help you God" from oath taken in front of a key committee in the Democratic-controlled House of Representatives is moving to eliminate the words "So help you God" from the oath. And we covered that not yesterday, but the day before. So I'm pretty sure that all of you are aware of that. But it's interesting that the Democrats, especially Nancy Pelosi, claims to be doing the Lord's work, but is wanting to strike "So help you God" from the oath. Yeah. Anyway, just more hypocrisy. We're all used to that. It's really nothing to see here. Let's move along. Okay, and then this by Donald Trump Jr. And he is speaking to Caleb Hall, or replying to Caleb Hall. It says, Virginia governor on abortion this morning. If a mother is in labor, the infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be, and basically what this governor was saying, and I'm pretty sure that you've all heard this by now, it's probably been all over the news, but maybe not. Maybe the mainstream media isn't reporting on this at all. I don't know, because I don't watch mainstream media. But the Virginia governor, of course, said, in speaking about abortion up to just minutes away from delivery, abortion is okay. And basically that he's saying that if the mother was in labor and wanted an abortion, that the infant would be delivered, and then the infant would be kept comfortable until the decision was made. Interesting. And Donald Trump Jr. responded to this and said, "This is insanity. Seems like advocating for post-term abortion, aka murder, by any standard I'm aware of. The only thing worse than what the Democrat governor of Virginia said was the fact that there's zero pushback from the host." Yeah, I would think that there would have been a lot more pushback from everyone. Imagine giving birth to a baby, or your wife or your girlfriend giving birth to a baby, and having that baby comforted while you and she or you and he discuss whether to kill it. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine seeing this infant with all its fingers and all its toes, and it's crying, and I can't imagine it. I don't see any health reason why a child should be aborted after it's born. I mean, that isn't abortion, it's murder. Well, I happen to believe abortion is murder, but I can understand in some rare circumstances that a mother's, health might be in jeopardy if it's early on. But come on, after you've already delivered the child, why? There are so many people that are wanting children that can't have them. I can't justify that any way I think of it. All right, now this from Santa Claus of the United States. I wish Q would make a drop soon. Me too. Egos, crazies, lose their minds. It literally happens every time. Division, hate, name calling, etc. I'm not being demanding in any way to Q. I'm just saying my DM goes on overdrive during these times. Chill. It will happen sooner than later. SCOTUS. Now, I happen to agree with that. I find every single time that Q is absent, people go a little loco and they start, I find that trolls increase on at least my channel, probably all the channels, if mine is any indication. And they start saying, well, Q's not true, right? And you know that Q has already been outed as so-and-so and so-and-so. No, he hasn't. And anybody that has been following Q and really following Q knows that this is the real deal. Now, is it a psyop? I don't know. I'm sure it is to some degree. But it's the only show in town right now. I mean, who are we gonna root for? There's nothing on the other side that looks anywhere close to being appealing at this point. So I'm going to support Donald Trump. And it seems that Q is, almost prophesying, although it's not true prophecy, is almost prophesying what Trump is going to be doing and has been right all along. So I'm going to keep following Q, and I know people are getting crazy and people are getting ugly and people are, turning their backs on it and saying this is ridiculous and I'm sick of this and it's not happening during my time frame, so screw it. Well, I'm sorry. I'd rather it happen at some point, but not on my time frame, than just abandon it. And, I don't know. What do you guys think about this? I'm sure you're seeing the exact same stuff. People are getting a little bit loco. They want Q to post, and they're starting to, well, if Q doesn't post soon, that means it was all whatever. That's not my mindset. It's not ever going to be my mindset. The only way that I will come against Q is if I find out that Q is in direct opposition to what I believe spiritually. That would be a game changer for me. But anything else beyond that, not really. Okay, maybe it's not happening in the time frame I want. Well, you know what? There's a lot of stuff I don't understand. Maybe, yeah, I wish that Q would post a little bit more often, but I don't understand what's happening behind the scenes right now, where Q is, what Q's doing, and what they're in the middle of. And it might be an issue of national security. Why he's not posting right now? Because we know that the deep state and the cabal are certainly looking to Q posts, the same as we are. So maybe he's wanting to be dark now. I don't know. But let's not lose hope. Okay. Now, here, I don't know what to say about this. Here's Chuckles Schumer. Next Tuesday night, now what's next Tuesday night? Next Tuesday night is the State of the Union address, okay? That is February 5th. We'll all be looking forward to it because I think it's going to be a showstopper. But here's Chuckles Schumer. Next Tuesday night, at Real Donald Trump will be the warm-up act for the real deal. Stacey Abrams. Okay. Didn't she lose the election? I thought she did. She did, didn't she? So we're going to have a loser speaking after Trump, and this is supposed to be the real deal, and Trump is going to be the warm-up act for Stacey Abrams? Really? Okay, Chuck, if you say so. Let's just humor Chuck and smile and not, look at him right in the eyes because it might scare him. You know what I mean? I'm just, there's something a little bit squirrely and cagey about him, and I don't know. It's like one of those people you just humor. It's like, okay, yeah. Like the crazy aunt deal. My aunts are not crazy, but I did have a crazy relative related through marriage, and they had some sort of, it wasn't Alzheimer's, but it was something very similar. And they used to do really odd things like put lipstick on for eyeliner and things like that. Well, that's kind of how I view Charles Schumer, Chuckles the Clown, because I think that he's one of those people you just have to go, yeah. So that's my opinion anyway. I think that they are both bat crap crazy. Both he and Pelosi. Like, seriously. Anyway, this from Jacob Wall. Alexandria, Occasional Cortex, says people in her district are working 100 hours per week and living in poverty. The minimum wage in her district is $15 an hour. After 40 hours, it's considered overtime, so employees start making $22.50 an hour. That adds up to $7,800 a month, or $93,600 a year. In other words, she's lying. Well, didn't she say that it was more important to be morally right than factually right? Well, there you go. She's neither. All right, let's move along, shall we? Okay. And this again from Mrs. Claus. Democrats in Virginia want to pass a bill that allows a woman in labor dilating to abort her baby. 90% of babies can survive outside the womb after 25 weeks. How is this not first-degree murder? I'd like to know myself. And this was in response to Liz Wheeler. This makes me want to vomit. These people are sick. Democrats in Virginia are trying to allow babies to be killed while the mom is in labor. Yeah, now, as far as I know, this bill was not passed. It did not gain enough votes to pass. But they're going to keep pushing it and keep pushing it and keep pushing it. And this by Caleb Hull. Virginia governor on abortion this morning. If a mother is in labor, the infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired, and then a discussion would ensue between the physician and mother. So let me get this straight, Virginia governor. I'm a mother and I'm in labor and I give birth to an infant that's not breathing. So you deliver that infant, you resuscitate it, you comfort it, and then if it's my desire, you will kill it. That's right. That's what he's saying. They'll deliver the child, they'll resuscitate it, they'll comfort it, they'll do whatever they need to do until you make that decision, and then it's like, okay, yes, I think that abortion is the best, and then they'll kill it. After holding it, resuscitating it, and comforting it. How could any human being do that? Really? I don't know. I don't know. You know what? I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't ever want to be that cold and callous. Ever. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that to an animal. Couldn't. All right, and this from Layla. Catholic Rhode Island Governor Gina Raimondo vows to sign bill legalizing abortions up to birth. God will not put up with the agonizing pain of killing his children much longer. Murdering and poisoning babies who can easily survive on their own must be stopped. And I would agree. If that baby can survive outside the womb on its own, then I believe that is murder. Plain and simple. I believe, actually, I don't agree with any abortion. And I know that probably not many people would agree with that. And I understand the other side of it. I've been in all sorts of debates where I've had to play both sides, and I do understand the argument quite well. But as a Christian, my faith does not allow me to kill an unborn child. And so for me, that would be not my decision ever. Okay, now let's go on here. And I know we're spending a lot of time on this whole abortion thing, but the thing is, it has been in the news recently. And hey, no, he's scratching my my dining room chairs, which are fabric. Yes. Okay. Now, I loved this meme and I felt I needed to share it with you. I'm just going to go here, make sure everything's recording okay, and it is. All right. Been having a little bit of trouble with my equipment because of you know who, so I just wanted to check. Okay. Pope declares building walls at border is unchristian. And this here is a picture of the border at the Vatican. So reconcile. Hard to do, isn't it? Yeah, it's very hard to do. People behind borders shouldn't call borders immoral or unchristian. That's just my opinion. And this, breaking news live. Now, I would like to know the real story behind this, and I bet you would too. Breaking news live. Now, I believe this was yesterday. It was breaking news. Incident involving President Trump's motorcade in Washington, D.C. Injuries reported developing. And then beneath it says, important, President Trump is not hurt. But it seems like somebody ran out in front of the motorcade and was hit. And apparently a Secret Service guard who was protecting the president was the one, actually, I believe it was the secret security agency that was hit because he was protecting the president. And I don't believe the security detail or his motorcade ever stops for anything. Like, I think that's a safety issue, but I could be wrong. Let me know if you guys know that for sure. But I'm pretty sure that they don't stop for anything because it would be a security issue. So this person was running towards the motorcade and was stopped by a Secret Service agent who was then hit by the motorcade, is my understanding. So whether this was another attempt, I don't know. We'll never know from mainstream media, that's for sure. But perhaps when Q comes back, he'll give us a hint and let us know if it was indeed something, nefarious that they had planned. Wouldn't surprise me. All right. Now, and this, it says a Secret Service officer and a protester have been struck by President Trump's motorcade in Washington, D.C. after a protester tried to run into the motorcade. And I think that's, I have a hard time believing it was just a protester because I think anybody with more than two neurons to rub together knows that you don't run at the president's motorcade and that things are not going to end well with you if you do. This person is very, very fortunate they were not shot and killed. And you know what? They would have been within their right to do so. Just not a good idea. Not wise, But all right, well, let's go on, because we can. And here's Patriot Kimmy. Thank God for Trump. Dems imploding. Bloomberg compares Warren's policies to Venezuela. Says Harris would bankrupt us. Not by Sean Hannity. So that was interesting. That was a Bloomberg article. No, actually, Dems imploding. Bloomberg compares Warren's policy to Venezuela. So it was a Bloomberg article and Hannity picked up on it. We're not going to go out there, but it's just interesting that even Bloomberg says that if we followed Warren's policies, it would be like what happened to Venezuela, and Harris would bankrupt us. Well, yeah. No surprises there. They are socialists, after all. And this by the deplorable choir. Tlaib's own father said that Tlaib lied about her address in order to run for office. He said his daughter misrepresented her residency when she signed an election affidavit in 2008 with the Wayne County clerk claiming she was a citizen of Detroit. And she isn't. So why is it she's still in office now? I'm just wondering. Because if that was a Democrat, can you imagine the outrage? I can. I can see it now. It'd be all over CNN. They'd be demanding something was done, but not her. Nobody said anything about it. He lied. She lied. And her own father called her out on it. She misrepresented her residency, and she signed an election affidavit saying she was a citizen of Detroit. She's not. What's going to happen to her? I don't know. This is the same thing, the same woman that said impeach the MFer. Okay. Such a lady. Such a lady. Okay, let's look at this. I don't know what this is, but, you know, that's the surprise of it all. It's this. Watch, InfoWars reporter Owen Schroyer was sexually assaulted last night at the Women's March. Let me turn this off right here. In D.C., not a single mainstream media outlet picked it up. So he was sexually assaulted by a woman on camera. And, you know, nobody picked it up in the news, in the mainstream news. However, I did hear that the woman who sexually assaulted him has been charged now. So that is good news, because if it's sexual assault for a man to do it to a woman, it is sexual assault for a woman to do it to a man. That's just bottom line. Come on, there should be no double standard at all. So let's take a look at this.
In itself could be considered a minor issue.
So if our president can grab a woman by the pussy, I can grab you by the balls.
She just grabbed my dick. Is that sexual assault? No, bye. Is that sexual assault?
Yes.
So you just sexually assaulted me?
I did assault
you.
you.
Should you be arrested?
Arrest me.
Well, I'm not going to arrest you.
There are police officers right here. But
So look at this. Women have so much privilege, she can sexually assault me and get away with it. If I did that to her, I'd get arrested.
A minor,
So there you are. Let me play this part again.
The instance in itself could be considered a minor issue.
so if our president...
She comes up and she grabs him. She grabs his privates in public. And that is sexual assault. He didn't ask for it. He didn't want it. Yeah. Well, apparently now she has been arrested, as she should be. There's no excuse for that, man or woman. All right. And what is this? The New York Times. Breaking news. The Federal Reserve indicated for the first time in recent years that it did not anticipate any additional interest rate increases. That, I think, is fascinating, personally. And after that announcement, it seems like the stock market went like in a good way. I don't know. I only have a few stocks, but I just noticed that, whoa. Yeah, so it's interesting. Don't know if President Trump had anything to do with that, but I don't know. It's interesting. What do you guys think about this? Because we were expecting them to raise rates. So this is interesting. Only strengthens the economy. All right. And fact, Kamala Harris hopped on board the Dem smear and destroy Kavanaugh train like she hopped on another woman's husband, Willie Brown, just to advance her career. Yes, she did. She was one of the loudest opponents of Kavanaugh, who, of course, did nothing wrong. And let's take a look at this picture here, and it's going to become very plain. We're looking at this gentleman right here beside Maxine Waters. Okay, so this is Maxine Waters, and we're paying attention to this guy right here. Who is he? Well, this is who he is. He's Antifa leader Joseph Alkoff. Yes, now let's go back up here. Here he is up here with Maxine. Oh, they're cozy, aren't they? Yeah. Just like two little bugs in a rug. AKA Joseph Martin Shape. 12-18-18, Daily Caller, Antifa leader Joseph Jose Alcoff works with Antifa while his actual identity is concealed. He works with Democrats in Congress as part of his day job. He manages a DC-based advocacy group. When going by the name Jose Martin, he is identified as Shape. He spreads socialist and communist propaganda, advocating the violent overthrow of the government and for the murder of the rich. He wrote, operating groups within the bounds of the law is necessary to get press and to have a base of support, while underground groups are necessary to keep the secret. Yes. So, there you go. And there he's all cozy with Maxine. Isn't that sweet? Aw, they're just two of a kind there. Yeah, he works with the Democrats and he works in Congress as part of his day job. There you go. Don't you feel safe? He wants to murder the rich. So if you've worked hard and you've gone to university and you have a good job, and maybe you haven't gone to university, maybe you just graduated from high school or didn't graduate from high school, maybe you started your own business and you worked your way up and you've got, a business where you have worked yourself into a very, very, very good paying job, a good amount of money, and you've saved and you've made good decisions all your life. Well, he wants to kill you because you're rich. Because for some reason you don't deserve that. You need to give all that wealth that you've worked so hard for away to the people that sit and do nothing. That's what you need to do, according to people like him. Yeah, because you don't deserve it. It doesn't matter that you made the right choices, that you went to school, that you worked hard, that you saved, that you slaved, that you put in extra hours. None of that matters. That money belongs to everyone. Yeah, and just the fact that you have that money means you deserve to die. Yes, because it's just a sin. It's a sin. You deserve to die for that, apparently. Now, it's not, I mean, can you imagine? Your only trespass, according to these people, is you have too much money. You have to die. You have to die. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Okay. Well, let's look at this. No, really, let's. Yes. Now, I don't want to stay on this too long or this video will be whatever. But anyway, Obama follows a male sex toy page known as Fleshjack. Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to pause on this too much because I don't want this to be flagged. But yes, he does. And it has been verified, and yeah, he follows a gay sex toy website. So what does that mean? I don't know. I know what I think it means, but... And of course, that's totally his business. It is his business. That's fine. My only concern is that he lied to the American people, that we had two men in the White House, and most of the American people are none the wiser. Yeah, that's my whole thing. All right. Now this came from an anon, and I don't know, but I'm bringing it to you. Well, no, we looked at that. Okay, Marines are being put on standby for funeral detail in D.C. An ex-Army relative of mine has a friend who is a Marine officer, and he just got orders. He is on standby for presidential, congressional funeral detail in D.C. Both of them have never heard of such a thing and are not sure what it means. Could be some retired senator has passed, or, like most of us are likely thinking here, it could be Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Again, we don't know. We don't know if she's alive or not alive. My inclination is that she is either in a coma, as we heard, or she has passed. And we may not know until they want us to know. Okay, now, for those of you that say nothing is happening, there's this. Massive human trafficking bust in California. 339 arrests made, saving 50 victims as young as teenagers. That's a lot. 50 victims. I mean, even one victim, that's great. If you save just one victim, especially if it was your daughter, your son or daughter, of course, you'd be absolutely over the moon about that. So saving 50 victims, awesome. I hope those young people get the counseling and the support they need to recover from this. But 339 arrests, that's quite substantial. So, and it says, see something, say something. We must work together and in good faith to rid the world of these disgusting people. Yes, we must. Those that would make their living pimping others, and I mean, doing things so horrendous, they're hard to even speak about. It has to be stopped. We need to protect those who are the most vulnerable among us, our elderly, our vets, our Vietnam vets, our vets from the Middle East wars. We need to protect these people. They've come back and their minds are broken from what they've seen. They've got post-traumatic stress syndrome and they need support. And the young, the elderly, those that are mentally deficient, physically, we need to protect our most vulnerable citizens. We really do. And I think that it says a lot that we have become a society that preys on the vulnerable instead of protecting them. It's just not good. All right. Okie dokie. Here we go. I almost don't want to play this, but I've got to. Don't hate me. I'm bringing you the news. Okay, here's Alexandria, occasional cortex. I acknowledge my privilege in being born cisgendered. I'm a cisgendered woman. I will never know the trauma of feeling like I'm not born in the right body. This is a privilege I have, no matter how poor my family was when I was born. Her family was not poor. Now let's listen.
Be poor and benefit from the color of your skin does not compute for a lot of people. And going through that realization is very painful, or even just economically for people that were born with silver spoons. It's very painful to admit that you had advantages, and it's just
look what happened to Brett Kavanaugh when he was confronted.
Oh my God!
He melted down in front of the whole country.
Literally is an identity meltdown. It's a fundamental.
I worked for everything I ever had.
Yeah, and like that is the majority of a lot of communities, how a lot of communities feel, and it's because if you haven't had a transition in your life where you were maybe born poor or born without certain privileges, and then especially as you transition into having certain privileges in your life, you actually see and feel and sense and taste and smell all of the differences. If you've never experienced different treatment in your life, you wouldn't know what different treatment feels like or looks like. And it's really, really hard. I mean, it's like, and we can almost every single person in this country can acknowledge some privilege of some type.
Right.
I'm a cisgendered woman. I will never know the trauma of feeling like I'm not born in the right body. Mm-hmm. And that is a privilege that I have, no matter how poor my family was when I was born.
I can't listen to any more of her. I just want to hurt myself when I hear her. Okay. I do, really. No, really, I do. Okay, let's go back. No, really, let's. Now, this is something on a different note, but it is pretty mind-blowing. Audi just invented fuel made from CO2 and water. Now, this is going to change everything. Everything. Now, I don't know. They'll probably try and keep this down as they have inventions in the past. But this is quite remarkable. This article is published in partnership with Time. The original version can be found here. An Audi research facility in Dresden, Germany has managed to create the first batches of diesel fuel with a net zero carbon footprint made from carbon dioxide, water, and renewable energy sources, such as wind or solar power. Germany's government has welcomed the new technology created in partnership with a green tech company called Sunfire. Joanna Wonka, Germany's Federal Minister of Education and Research, even test drove the fuel and called it a crucial contribution to climate protection and the efficient use of resources, according to an Audi press release. Manufacturing involving first breaking down stream into hydrogen and oxygen through high temperature electrolysis. The hydrogen then reacts with CO2 to create a liquid called blue crude. This is then refined to make the e-diesel. A visual infographic released by Audi explains the steps in detail. And I don't think we need to know the steps in detail unless that's something that you want to look into yourself and are interested. But I wanted to bring that to you because really, quite literally, that this can change everything. I mean, absolutely everything. So I'll be interested to see where this goes and how far this goes. Because you would think that the entire world would jump on board. But we know that there is money to be made from, crude energy. So who knows what will happen. But let me know in the comments below what you think. Has the potential for being a massive game changer for sure. All right. And this, just in, Speaker Pelosi, during press conference, there will not be any wall money in the legislation being negotiated by the bipartisan Border Security Conference Committee. It is likely the government will go into shutdown again in just 2 weeks from now. That, according to Nancy Pelosi, who, again, refuses to negotiate about the wall, even though she said to President Trump, open up government and we'll negotiate. Yeah. And this is from Lisa Mae Crowley, and she is responding to this by Breaking Live News, the one that I just read you, and she says, open the government, then we can negotiate. Lying biatch. I won't say the word. Nancy Pelosi's a liar. I think we've determined that much. All right. Now, here's something you don't see every day. No, really, you don't. Yeah, you're not going to believe this. Washington Examiner. Trump's list, 289 accomplishments in just 20 months. Relentless promise keeping. That's our president. Relentless promise keeper. That is exactly what he is. A relentless promise keeper. The Trump administration's often overlooked list of achievements has surpassed those of former President Ronald Reagan at this time and more than doubled since the last tally of accomplishments after his first year in office, giving President Trump a solid platform to run re-election on. As Trump nears the 2-year mark of his historic election and conducts political rallies around the country during which he talks up his wins in hopes he will re-energize Republican voters, the administration has counted up 289 accomplishments in 18 categories, capped by the confirmation of Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court. They include 173 major wins, such as adding more than 4 million jobs and another 116 smaller victories, some with outsized importance, such as 83% one-year increase in arrests of MS-13 gang members. Trump's success in reducing the cost of taxes and regulations, rebuilding our military, avoiding wars of choice, and changing the courts rival those of all previous Republican presidents, say Grover Norquist, president of Americans for Tax Reform. Trump has an advantage over Ronald Reagan. He has a Reagan Republican House and Senate, while Reagan had a Democratic Speaker. Tip O'Neill House and pre-Reagan Republican Senate. Reagan and former GOP Speaker Newt Gingrich were the icebreakers that allowed Trump's victories to grow in number and significance, he added. Unlike the year one list, which included many proposals and orders still to be acted on, the new collection includes dozens of actions already in place, signed legislation, and enforced executive orders. For example, while the year one list bragged about the administration's efforts to rewrite much aligned NAFTA trade deal with Canada and Mexico, the year two list said negotiated a historic U.S. Mexico-Canada trade agreement to replace NAFTA. So I'm not going to go through all of this, but it does list it, and it lists it: economic growth, jobs, American income, American optimism, American business, deregulation, tax cuts, worker development, domestic infrastructure, healthcare, and it goes through all these things, combating opioids. So what I'm going to do, instead of reading it all to you, if this is something you're interested in, especially if you want to red pill your normie friends, then I'm going to put this in the video description below. Okay, I'm going to put a link to this article, and I promise that I won't forget it, because this is really important, and it's important to get out there. So if you are on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, make sure that you get this article around, because I think that it's important that people see this to combat the false narrative that we're getting from the mainstream media. This is very, very good. It's very well written, and it's very accurate. So if you can help disseminate this information, that would be great. I'll put that link in the video description. All right, and let's go back here. Now, we've already looked at this. This was Mike Huckabee's response to the Virginia governor. Governor Northam of Virginia says full-term baby that survived a late-term abortion would be kept comfortable until mother and doctor decide to go ahead and kill baby anyway. What's comfortable to the baby when it's killed? Sick, savage, and sinful. Yes, elections have consequences. Yeah, indeed they do. And this from Mike Wonder. Do you believe House Speaker Nancy Pelosi when she said she is not aware what Virginia Governor Ralph Northam said yesterday about keeping the infant comfortable while it waits for the parents to decide whether it will live or die? No, I don't believe Speaker Pelosi, because she would have to be living under a rock not to have heard it. Now, maybe she is living under a rock. I don't know. It's probably under a rock with a big wall around it, I would assume. But anyway, no, I don't believe her. I don't believe her at all. In fact, every time her lips are moving, I believe she's lying. So there. I know you're saying, no, really, Mishel, tell us how you really feel. Well, maybe someday I will. Okay, and this from John Willow. So the 2020 Dem platform is no private health care, kill fully formed 2-second from birth babies, 70% marginal tax rates on people they hate, ban nearly every gun. Also, you're a racist. This is basically a right-wing parody of a Dem platform, and it's real. Yes, unfortunately, it's funny, but it's only funny because it's real. Most good humor has a little bit of truth in it. So. And this by Josh Cornett. Breaking U.S. Customs and Border Protection reports its largest fentanyl bust ever, seizing nearly 254 pounds of the opioid in Arizona. That's right. But according to mainstream media and everybody else, there's nothing happening. Nothing's going on. There's no queue. They're not cleaning up anything. This is all ridiculous. It's all made up. And again, this from Mrs. Claus, responding to Q. Now, this is not the official Q. Massive human trafficking bust in California, 339 arrests made, saving 50 victims as young as teenagers. See something, say something. And Mrs. Claus added, this could happen in a town near you. See something, say something. And absolutely, we need to be on the lookout for all this because it is going on. Now I'm going to leave this last one for now. And let me copy this. All right. Well, oh heck, maybe let's take a look at this. I actually can't remember everything that's in there, so there might be some good little tidbits for us. This by Burn Notice. Thread, is anything really happening? For those following U.S. and world politics, it must be accepted that we are in a weird time of civilization. I use this term loosely. Let me focus just on Trump tweets. My favorite was Kofifi. Yes, that was my favorite too. And I love that word, Kofifi. I'm going to get myself a sorry, I just hit the thing that the microphone was on, so that was probably loud. Sorry. Anyway, yes, I need to get myself a coffee mug that says Kofifi. Anyway, so let me focus on just Trump. My favorite was Kofifi. Despite the constant negative press, Kofifi. Yes. Now, 2. Hang on here. Trump seems to love to facilitate tremendous ridicule. Kofifi was so brilliant because it preserved every tweet as a presidential record. What is funnier is that the Kofifi Act 2017 was moved by the Democrats. Yeah, so apparently, well, let's move down here. Kofifi Act would preserve Trump's tweets as official statements. See, everything that Trump tweets is saved as part of his official record as he, while he was president. So a lot of these tweets that people are thinking, he's so retarded or whatever to tweet this stuff, he's doing it strategically because all of this will be saved and they will have a record of his response to all this ridiculous press. The man is not stupid. I don't care who says what about him. The man is not stupid, and it's very evident. But the Kofifi Act actually will, any president, I mean, right now he's president, but a president, it will take their tweets and archive them for future generations. And it should be archived for future generations. So just, Trump has nicknames for every villain: Crooked Hillary, Crying Chuck Schumer, Leakin' James Comey, Little Adam Schiff, Pocahontas, Peter Strzok and his lover. You can add all the ones I've missed. Trump has developed a cast that rivals a TV sitcom. That's very true. To say that nothing is happening is a statement of ignorance. What is happening now requires some speculation and hard research. I am very sympathetic to those who still rely on mainstream media to confirm things. This is the Great Awakening, and we all awake at different times. Trump was very clear going into the election that he was intending to do to those who we call deep state, or what he was intending to do to those we call deep state. He is ambiguous and crass now, but he wasn't before he was elected. Must watch the video that will get him elected. Now, we've all seen this numerous times. For anyone uncertain about what Trump is all about, the Al dinner speech clarifies everything. This is the greatest, cleverest, funniest speech ever in the context of future takedown. Listen carefully to every word. Now, I don't think we're going to listen to that. Let me go down here, see if there's anything else of major significance. Well, I think I am going to leave this for another night. I need to read through it myself and see what all is in there and see if there's any little nuggets we can glean. So, anyway, I'm going to call it a night there. Night. That was me calling it a night. And that's it. So I hope that you guys are doing well. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. I will be back tomorrow, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. As long as we have some news to report, I'll be here. And anyway, that's it. So I'll talk to you guys real soon. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your wonderful comments, your support. I really appreciate it, more than you can possibly know. And I really do enjoy the back and forth with the comments, and I learn a lot from you guys. So if you're learning anything from me, then I guess it's a symbiotic relationship. We learn from one another, and that's the way it should be. And anyway, I will see you guys real soon, I hope. Good night.